Hello, my darlings. It's ALB in Whisperland here, and today I actually put on real clothes this morning instead of wearing my pajamas until 3 in the afternoon. I have to show you this shirt. It's Josie and the Pussycats, the best movie ever, but I'm wearing it kind of tucked in so you can't really see. Alright, so today we're gonna do some meal prep, but first we gotta make breakfast. Let's do our best. So, breakfast today, I'm kind of doing my classic fridge, like just grab all. Basically, what I generally do for breakfast is just open the fridge and be like, what kind of food do I feel like eating this morning? I like to make a variety plate. My wife usually calls this Hobbit meals, because I just like kind of smatterings of a lot of different stuff that I then will pick at for like an hour. So we're gonna do some fruit this morning. We're gonna wash all this nice fruit up. I always do kind of like a double wash method. We'll cut some strawberries up and just soak them in this water. Basically, I like to swish the fruit around in the water because I find it's better than just running it underwater. Like, it really helps remove any excess dirt, things like that. I might try growing my own fruit this year. I had some luck with vegetables last year. I mean, tomatoes are a fruit, so technically I did grow fruit last year. But I might try this year. We'll see. After I'm done sort of leaving them in that water, you can see all of the little bits of seeds and things that gets left behind. It's quite remarkable, actually. And we'll do fresh water for the raspberries. Kind of just make them nice and super cold. I don't know what it is, but the taps in my place, they do not make or produce warm water. You can have either ice cold water or boiling hot water that like burns your hands. There's no in between. So during this time of year, I usually have to use cold water for washing fruits and veg and stuff, and by the end of like 3 minutes, I'm shivering. My little fingers are like, oh, I can't possibly do this any longer. We're also gonna do 1 cucumber today. Lately, I've been seeing this trend on TikTok where people are making cottage cheese toast. Has anybody else seen this? And when I was seeing it, I was like, wow, I haven't had cottage cheese in ages, like 10 or more years. When I was growing up, I swear there was always cottage cheese in my house. I think it was like a popular item at that time. Somebody in my family must have liked it, like my sister or my mom, or I don't know, somebody liked it. So as a general cheese aficionado, I was like, any cheese, I'll eat it as a kid. But I had not had cottage cheese since, and when I had it again, it was such a nostalgic flavor to me. So I've been buying it lately and enjoying it. But I do kind of all different things with the cottage cheese. Sometimes I'll do like an egg with it, or just spices. Today I'm gonna make kind of like the TikTok trend version. We'll put some little jars here on the sides of the plate for the fruit. Otherwise, it's just gonna fill the plates with water and make everything soggy. It's not much fun at all. So, I work from home, obviously. Well, I guess it's not that obvious. I work from home. And my wife also works from home. And sometimes we're working kind of similar hours, but there have been many times that we've been working like opposite hours, where I've been working like just only at night. And those times I don't normally cook but right now we're on the same sleep schedule, so I tend to make at least one of our meals, if not multiple meals for us, simply because I like to eat, but it's kind of annoying to cook for just one person. I don't know if you've experienced that too, but I always feel way more motivated to put like time and love and care into food if I know I'm not the only person eating it. I wish I could say I was like 100% motivated by like simply wanting to feed her, but like I also want to feed me yummy food, and it's so annoying to just cook for one person. So I like to cook cute little meals for us. It's kind of motivating for me when I'm left to my own devices. I mean, sometimes I'll cook great big meals for myself, but other times it's like cereal for every meal. That happens too. So we'll do some strawberries and raspberries, but I kind of need to see what the overall plate is going to look like before I start adding everything on here. We're going to do an avocado, but I'm not going to do it like avocado toast. I normally would, but we're doing cottage cheese toast today. Something different. We're just going to do avocado on the side. Every single time I slice open an avocado, my brain just quietly says to myself, an avocado, thanks, which is an ancient meme. I don't know how long that's going to be with me. I'm probably going to be like 60 years old and still have that thought in my brain. Some things just become a part of you. If there's something you once referenced solidly for like 2 weeks, I think. So it's not like necessarily an amazing time of year for any of these fruits where I live, but you know, you do what you can. Like, they're not the best strawberries in the world, but it's, you know, it's still winter where I live. We will take what we can get here. But I wanted to cut them up in a cute way, just to make the plate pleasing overall. I'm liking the nice little spring-ish colors. Are we in spring? I don't think so. I think there's more cold weather coming for me in Canada, but it's hard to know. I keep getting like false hope days, the false spring, where it's like nice out and the sun is there, but it's just like a game of chicken where I can't trust it. So I've got this like nice little toasty bread. This is like a rye. It kind of reminds me of Melba toast once you properly toast it up. I don't have a toaster. I just toast all my bread in the oven, which works fine, except you have to keep your eye on it because it's not trustworthy. You can burn it so easily. I have burnt many things by walking away and getting distracted, looking at my phone for like 1 second, and then, burnt. But I just can't justify the counter space for a toaster. Now hear me out. Currently, the place we're renting, it does have a big kitchen, but the place we were in before had a very small kitchen. I did not have much room for storage, so I was like really picky when it came to like kitchen appliances. And because like I don't know, what the future holds, I'm just like, I don't want to buy more appliances because I don't know if in the future I'll have room for them. It's making me hold back. It looks good. We've got some layered cucumber on here. Sprinkle a little tahini on here. When I didn't have this, I was using the Trader Joe's chili lime. It's not the same, but like if you can't find this, there's some flavors that are comparable. And it's kind of nice. It's like a little, you get that crunchy from the cucumber. Put a little spicy, nice smoke salt on the avocado as well. So you get that crunch from the cucumber. You've got the like salty deliciousness of the cheese. Here's my drop off. Pretty successful, I think. We don't usually eat breakfast and lunch together. I guess we probably could if we really wanted to, but we both just like to sort of pick at food for like a long time, so we just eat at our desks respectively. Now I need tea. Tea needs to be a part of this meal, and you know I'm going with my old standby Earl Grey tea. Every day I have Earl Grey tea for breakfast at least once a day, sometimes twice a day. Why not? It's delicious. It's got the perfect amount of caffeine for me, and I just love it. Sometimes if I'm feeling even fancier than this, I'll like pour boiling water in the cup before I add any tea and let it sit for like 2 minutes, then pour that out and then make the tea, just so that the cup is like piping hot before I even make the tea. Now that is a primo experience. If you've never done this, do it. It will luxuriate your experience. It's so much nicer, but I didn't have the energy to do that today, so. Very good tea. Now let's try some of this. Let's try this raspberry next. Avocado. Lately, as I've been eating my breakfast, I've been working on doing subtitles for videos. It takes a long time, but it's satisfying. In an ideal world, I would be able to have subtitles on all of my videos, but I'm not at the point with my channel where I can pay somebody to do it, and I want there to be subtitles, so I gotta do it myself. It's work, but I do a little every day. Generally, how I look at it is if I can get like an hour of doing subtitles done every day, I'm happy with myself, you know. So now we're gonna start on some meal prep stuff. I sometimes buy, chicken sausages or bacon, things that I can just have for myself for my own meals, but I used to never like buying a pack of anything like this because it would go bad before I could use it all. Then I watched, of course, again, a TikTok all about how to roll up bacon, and so now I can buy a pack and use it for like, a month, 2 months, and that's been encouraging me to look at a lot of other foods differently. What can I buy one package of, especially if it's a food that only I eat, and then divide it in single portions, whatever a single portion of that meal would be, and then prepare it so that it's a lot easier for me, in the moment of wanting to eat it, because whenever I'm super hungry, I don't want to do the meal prep part. I just want to take it out of the fridge or take it out of the freezer, throw it in the pan. I want to use the energy that I have to do like spices and seasoning and stuff like that. So that's kind of my goal with these, especially My little sausages are good for my hobbit meals, as we call them in my house. Yeah, they're just little single serving just for me usually, and so it's kind of perfect like that. I try to always remember to date things, and with little Ziploc bags, it's kind of perfect because you can just write directly on the plastic with your Sharpie, and it all works out. So you've probably seen a lot of people do this. It will be not news to many of you, but maybe this could help one person. It's really fun to roll these out perfectly and then cut them. I just use regular parchment paper. I feel like you could also use wax paper for this too. I don't really think you could use saran wrap, but any type of wax or parchment paper, it works great. You just roll them up. I always like to prepare my little Ziploc bags on the side and open them because it is so annoying when you're working with food and you're like touching the food. You don't have to try to open Ziploc bags at that point. There's just like too much transfer. Yeah, I pre-open all of my bags for this reason. I even got these little ones that like kind of stand up, so the bottom is like sort of a square shape, like how a paper bag would be. It's very helpful. Even though I'm not eating these today, it feels good to package everything up because it's been on my to-do list for a couple days, so I'm just glad to get them all prepped and ready for me for when I do want to eat them. I will just make sure everything is like super sealed before putting them away so they don't get too freezer burnt, hopefully. Of course, I have to thoroughly wash my scissors and hands and things like that just to be on the extra safe side. It's good to do. And off they pop into the freezer, and they're usually good for like a couple months, but they don't last that long. So the next thing I'm going to be meal prepping today is ramen eggs. Okay, now stay with me. I go through phases in my, cooking life. I mean, I'm just like a home chef, but I go through phases where I'm like, I'm gonna get really good at making this one thing. Like, I spent 2 months figuring out how to make perfectly poached eggs because I wanted to make really good eggs Benedict at home. So like every weekend I was making eggs Benedict. It was a whole thing. But yeah, then I went through a phase where I wanted to try to make a lot of different kinds of ramen at home, which of course led me down the path to making lots of different types of ramen eggs to go with it and testing out different flavor combos. Ultimately, this meant that I ate a lot of ramen eggs, which are just like marinated eggs. There's more to them than that, but that's basically what I'm going to do today. I find I like them even without having a noodle dish. I like just eating them on their own. They're savory and delicious. I love when they get that perfectly like jammy center. It's so yummy. So I'm going to make some of those. This is one of the few kitchen gadgets I do have because it's so small and convenient. Just a little egg cooker, and I can perfectly soft boil or like medium soft boil these eggs all at once. You can just boil them too, but look at this little thing, it's so cute. And they go right into the ice bath where they're gonna cool down for like 10 minutes, and in the meantime we will make the marinade. So I've got my bonito flakes. We'll throw some of those in there. If you're interested in making ramen eggs, there's great resources on YouTube. That's where I learned how to do it. We've got some dried seaweed. This is like the extra thick kind. It's best for this. And we've got some dried shiitake mushrooms. It gives a really nice like super umami flavors. I love truffle mushrooms. Delicious. And I'm going to throw some red pepper flakes in there too, because we like a little bit of spice. Why not? And that's pretty much it for the non-liquids. I'm going to throw a little dash of wine in. This is just like cooking wine. We've got some mirin. We'll put that in too. As you can see, I need to replace a lot of these. Doesn't it always seem like products tend to all run out at the exact same time? That always tends to happen to me, both with condiments and with like hair products like shampoo, hairspray, all of that. I always feel like I run out of a bunch of things at the exact same time, even though they're all different sizes and different quantities. I don't know, it just happens a lot. So I just threw the rest of the soy sauce in there. Why not? This is like not something I measure. Put a little water in there too. I just mix it all up. As a rule, I don't really measure anything when I'm cooking. This is kind of why I'm better at cooking than baking. I don't even know if I would say I'm good at cooking, but I know I'm not great at baking. That is not something I generally take on, because you have to be really quite precise with baking, or at least more precise than I care to be, so it's just not something I excel at. So I'm just going to, put my hands through the ultimate test, which is peeling these eggs, and they are so cold. They are freezing cold, these eggs. You know that kind of cold where your hands start like almost hurting because you're just like, oh, it's quite chilly. And then I always give them a little rinse in the water before I put them in the marinade. I'll just put a little lid on that and set that straight in the fridge. This Tupperware, or whatever this is, like this plastic container, is one of those classics of somebody brought food to my house in this container and then left the container. And then I was like, hey, do you want your container back? And they're like, no, keep it. And I'm just like, great. Now I have this container. I think I have like 5 of those. None of my containers match. They're not cute, but they're very functional. So there's that. Now we're getting into my favorite task, which is anything that has to do with garlic. Garlic is my love in this life, and as much of it as you can possibly handle is how much you should use in general. I think it's good for your health. That's what I tell myself anyway. I'm like, oh, this is very good for me, actually, as I eat so much garlic. So I always buy these like huge sleeves of garlic. Now for 2 people, even 2 people who love garlic, this is a lot of garlic, and I hate food waste. So look at this little tiny one. Oh, it's so little. We're gonna use this one too, don't you worry. Every little clove will get eaten. So I'm just gonna like literally peel all of these garlics, cloves of garlic, head of garlics. What is the multiple word for that? You know what I mean. Cloves of garlic, that sounds right. Yeah, I'm just gonna peel all of these. This is the kind of like task that I can really get into. Just throw on a podcast or something, and just like deep dive into it. Lately I've been watching a lot of like the kind of YouTube videos where I can essentially like body double. Body doubling is like when you watch, well, I don't know what the actual meaning of it is, but for me, I like to just watch videos where people are like cooking or doing laundry or just cleaning. Cleaning's like, I love watching the cleaning ones too. And a lot of the time during the day I'm by myself, which is fine. I like is kind of nice to have a little company, even if it's just watching videos. So I like to do one task where I can just kind of focus in and really get into it and just like listen to a video like that. We are going to use my food processor and mince this garlic. Why would I mince it all by hand when I can just put it in the food processor? See, this is a kitchen appliance that there's so many uses for this that it is an essential for me. I make smoothies with this all the time. I do soups, like anything. Food processors are to me like an essential. I kind of wish I had a bigger one, actually, but I make this work just fine. So, garlic. We've got a lot here. I have this little silicone tray. I'm gonna fill this all up with garlic. I think this is for ice, technically, but garlic is like a form of ice in its own way. It's its own thing. It deserves its own tray. Although I have a feeling I'm gonna have way too much garlic for this tray, but we have other methods. We'll fill this up first. The smell right now, by the way, it is heavenly. I know some of you don't really like garlic, but that's okay. I still love you. I mean, there's all kind of foods that a lot of people like that I just can't get into, so I get it, you know. And garlic is a very popular food. To be honest, I don't really love this tray because the silicone, it makes it so it doesn't have a lot of structure and the lid does not stay on. Like, it's okay when it's frozen, but I have to really support it, otherwise the garlic just falls out. I kind of think the Ziploc method is a little bit better. So as usual, I'm going to open my Ziploc up and I'm just going to dump a bunch of garlic in here. Then I'm going to kind of semi-seal it, get a lot of the air out, and smush, smush, smush. Try to make it all flat. I've seen a lot of people be fancy and smart and use a rolling pin. I like a little bit more of a rudimentary method, which is to just smoosh with your hand. It's very effective and professional, I think you'll find, and I think we all agree it looks great and cool. And then I'm just using my roller to sort of divide little square sections. In my brain, I'm telling myself, like, this is 1 clove's worth of garlic, more or less. But like I said, I don't use recipes, so it's kind of just for me to be able to mentally be like, about this much garlic, you know, more or less. I don't have quite as much in the second Ziploc, so it's not gonna look as perfect and cute as the first one. The top of it is funky, but that's okay. So into the freezer they go, and there's a lot of garlic left in the food processor. Not quite enough to package, but enough. So let's make a yummy sauce with this. I mean, the garlic's already all in there, why not, right? I've got some Greek yogurt, sriracha, a lime, and then I have a bunch of cilantro here. This is like about to go bad. The cilantro, it's not quite, but there's some leaves on this that are like, they're on their way out. I don't want to waste it. I'm not going to be able to eat it in time, so let's make a sauce. Now, I'm going to eyeball this again, but I'll try to guess. This is about, I don't know, like maybe half a cup of Greek yogurt and a huge amount of sriracha, because I love sriracha, of course. We're gonna wash this lime up really well because I'm going to zest the skin. It's delicious. It's very yummy. I have a little microplane thingy. I love this thing. This was like a Christmas gift one year, and I use this so much, especially for ginger. It's really nice to have grated ginger. Very delicious. So I'm just gonna get that nice zest of the lime here. underrated. I love lime zest in a sauce. It is sort of that added something. It's like a nice little texture thing too. As for the cilantro, I actually managed to salvage quite a bit. There was a couple that were like kind of slimy and gross, but when I was washing it, they just came right out, so easy. Just gonna do like a rough chop of all of this, including the stems. The stems are also great in a sauce because it's all getting blended up anyway. I guess you don't technically need to chop this up, but I just find it like fits in my blender better if I do just like a little rough chop first. It kind of makes life easier. Also, it's satisfying to cut herbs. If you've never gotten a huge bunch of herbs and chopped them, you gotta do it. It feels satisfying somehow. Just gonna throw all of this stuff in, and we will slice this cute little lime in half. It kind of looks weird without the skin, doesn't it? And we'll get as much juice as we possibly can from this. I kind of wish I had a citrus juicer right now. I'll add it to my list, my wish list of kitchen items. It's not literally a wish list, it's like in my brain. I love to window shop at fancy kitchen stores, and every once in a while they have a sale, and that's when I'll pick something up that I've been looking for. Salt and pepper, a little red pepper flakes, why not? I'm already putting them in everything else. What's one more thing? And we will blend this up. What's kind of nice about this sauce is it starts to get more and more green as you blend everything together. You always have to do a quick taste test when things are coming along. A little more sriracha. Why not? The thing about this sauce though, and if you make it, which I encourage you to also make this, but if you make it, it's not really that good to eat the day of. I mean, it's good. This tastes good, but like all of these flavors kind of need to sit in the fridge together and sort of like, I don't know, just become buddies in there. Like, it tastes good, but it's very, very sharp. I like when it just kind of mellows just a little bit. So that's my sauce container. I have quite a bit extra sauce. I did not anticipate this. Let's just throw it in another Tupperware. I mean, this would make a great marinade for like tofu or chicken or anything. You could do like just sauce on anything. You know what? Roast potatoes. This would be really good too. I'm just gonna throw this in the freezer just to have it. I mean, you'll never be sorry that you have like nice food in your freezer when you don't feel like cooking. It's a good thing to have. And now I get to clean this big mess I made. Gorgeous. Sometimes people ask me with my magazine videos, do you keep the magazines after you're done? And it honestly varies magazine to magazine. If there's a really good or interesting spread, I'll totally keep it. Otherwise, I give it to friends or cut them up for collages. But this particular Halloween magazine had a great cookie icing recipe that during that Halloween season I tried, and I was like, oh my god, this recipe is great. It actually is. So we're gonna make this today. I guess I could just cut out that page and hold on to the recipe, but the magazine's so cute. May as well hold on to it for now. Another kitchen appliance. I know. It seems like because I mentioned I don't have a toaster, now I'm like keenly aware of what kitchen appliances I do have, but they get a little use. I don't know why I'm justifying this to myself. Anyway, we are gonna make icing now. My wife made cookies already, gingerbread cookies. I am not the baker. That is her area. But I like to decorate things. That is my area. So we're gonna make some nice royal icing today and do the decorating as well. So we've got food coloring, very important. Vanilla. I'm not exactly sure what designs I'm gonna do yet, but I know I want at least 2 different colors with the icing. Although I may leave one of them white because it can be interesting to do like white designs on top of a bright color. Thank goodness I had like half a bag of powdered sugar because you need like 4 cups of powdered sugar for this recipe. It's a lot. Then I'm using meringue powder. I think just a little bit, not too much. And cream of tartar as well. Cream of tartar basically never gets used except for making icing. It's not a multi-purpose item in my home, I'm afraid to say. I'll give that just a little light mix. You can see all the powder like puffing up into the air. And now we will do the liquid items. We've got water here, and I'm just gonna throw the vanilla directly into the water. Instead of putting it into the powder mixture, it'll just, I think, hopefully blend in a little bit better here. I'll just pour this right in. I don't know if I'm supposed to do this gradually, but I'm not going to. I'm just gonna toss it together and hope for the best. It's kind of fun to watch the beater twirl. I don't really exactly know when I should stop this because the recipe just says blend until there's stiff peaks. I'm not a baker. I'm not sure. Let's take a look. I mean, this looks good. Let's taste. It looks good, but I think we could give it a little bit more. It's not quite as stiff as I think it needs to be. Hopefully, don't over mix it. Okay, this looks a little bit better. Or maybe exactly the same, I don't know. We'll put some in this little yellow bowl to the side here. And I'm just using a wet paper towel on top so that I can kind of put that to the side until I'm ready to use it. Royal icing is the kind of icing that like you often see on sugar cookies and gingerbread too. It gets kind of like that gorgeous hard shell after it hardens, and so you don't have to worry about like the icing coming off when in your hands. Like it creates a little like candy shell, which is delicious in my opinion. Not everybody likes it, but I love it. But it's kind of annoying to make because you really have to be making sure icing isn't sitting out uncovered because it can go dry really quickly. It wants to harden, right? I'm trying to make a pink right now. I have like a very specific kind of pink in mind. Not too neon, but like, you know, my pink, the pink. I'm just gonna use a little bit of plastic wrap on the top of this big one. I made the most pink of any color because I think that's gonna be predictably the majority of the base icing I'm gonna do today. But I also want to make like a bright reddish color. I'm using mostly red food coloring. Let's just see how that looks. Maybe a little more. I want it like really romantic, bold. I'm gonna even put a little bit of purple in there, just like a dot, just because I want it to be like a cooler toned red, and my other food coloring was a little orangey for me. Alright, so let's lay everything out. We've got our red here, we've got the pink, and this is the white icing. Here are the cookies that my wife made. Aren't they so cute? Heart-shaped. Now, you're gonna laugh, but this cookies tray, like the marble tray and the heart. That is not specific for Valentine's Day. I use this year round. This is my like charcuterie tray. And neither is the little heart bowl. I also use this year round. During Valentine's Day, I tend to pick up things that I will then use year round because I like cute things. And I like, I like love. Let's say that. And it's nice to have hearts. Hearts and bows are some of my favorite shapes. My signature probably is a little sparkle, a little like stardust kind of shape. Is it normal to have a signature shape? Is that just another one of my quirks? I don't know. I'm gonna fill a lot of these cookies in with just plain pink to start, and then do designs after. Now, I am not, like I said, I'm not like a baker, so I don't really have good icing skills. I don't own piping bags. I don't own those little like fancy tips that you can use for piping the icing. I'm just doing my best with a spoon, so these are kind of messy. I'm just doing the best I can with what I've got. I don't want to buy a bunch of stuff when I'm only making cookies like twice or 3 times a year max. And let's be honest, I'm only doing the decorating part, which is like the least amount of work, really. But hey, I can take credit for this part, at least. The great thing about this type of icing is that even though like I can't get it perfectly smooth with the spoon, as it sits, gravity kind of like smooths things out a little bit. It can be a little bit forgiving, but I'm just using the spoon to kind of like nudge the icing into a heart shape rather than like brushing it on. Like I'm just sort of taking a gel nail approach and just pushing the product, in this case the icing, into where it needs to go. This icing smells so sugary sweet and delicious. I'm not like super into baked goods like pastries and things, but I love a ginger cookie or a molasses cookie. Something that's not like too sweet. I'll eat a whole bunch of them. Now that these have icing on them, probably I'm a little more deterred. I'm just not a huge sweets person, but I like a little spicy cookie. That's like my weakness, admittedly. And just smoothing this icing as best I can around here. Oh, would you look at that? My own personal creamer has decided to make an appearance. How blessed are we? Actually, since it's been a while, I wanted to give you all a little update on Lucifer. So if you don't know who Lucifer is, I've been befriending this gorgeous, fluffy black cat for over a year. It took a long time to build this friendship. This is not a cat that easily warms up to people, despite how the bond we have now looks. For many months, I was just putting out canned tuna for Lucifer every day, but I couldn't get within 6 feet. Otherwise, she'd just run away, completely scared. I couldn't even be outside while she was eating. Like, that's how intense it was. But little by little, I worked my way up to building that trust, and I mean, now look at her. She's like gotten to the point where she would come and start asking to come inside, and then it got to the point where we let her come inside, and then it was like she didn't want to be outside anymore. And then she just started staying for days, and we bought a litter box and everything. This is a cute story, but it was actually really hard. I cried a lot because I'm still healing from losing our girls 2 years ago. That loss was just immeasurable. I mean it when I say I would absolutely not have made plans to bring a new pet into my life. 100% no. I was just not ready at all. But when a cat was at our doorstep and needed a place to go, I had to welcome that in and open my heart to love again. Especially because Lucifer is a black cat, that made it extra difficult for me. But we discussed it a lot and we decided we wanted to take that leap and make it official. So we brought Lucifer to the vet. We were ready to adopt. But now here's where things change course in a way I could not have predicted. Lucifer was chipped, and the vet called the owner listed on the chip to come get them. We got to meet the owner, and they were pretty surprised to be called. I guess they have a lot of animals. Since they live not super far away, we said, hey, it's likely Lucifer will keep coming back to us. Would you like us to stop feeding and stop letting them in? The owner said it was fine. They didn't care. It was a little confusing. The vet said Lucifer was a girl, but the owner said Lucifer was a boy. I don't know. To me, Lucifer is just Lucifer. Just a little creature, like a little soot sprite. I wish I had a sweeter end to this story, one that ties it with a bow. It was very bittersweet for us because it took so long to open our hearts to that kind of love again. But at the same time, we were glad to know that Lucifer does have a home base somewhere. We decided that our boundary is that we'll keep giving lots of treats and cuddles, but we're not going to let Lucifer inside anymore. That's kind of like the middle ground of protecting our hearts, but also honoring this bond we made with this animal. I wish I could speak to Lucifer and have them understand why we can't go inside together anymore. I mean, I always wish I could talk to animals, but in these moments, especially. In the meantime, though, I probably spend over an hour every day outside cuddling them, rain or shine, I'm out there. It seems to be nurturing that part of my heart that yearns to care for a little guy again. So, yeah, I'm just really grateful for this experience, genuinely, even though in some ways it broke my heart a little again. There was obviously a lot of internal work that I still needed to do, and this situation kind of magnified it. And now I know when the day comes where we have a little guy again, I'll be ready for it. And I still get to enjoy my friend in the meantime, Alright, let's come back inside and finish up on these cookies. Now that the pink has hardened a little bit, thank you, Lucifer, for taking me away so that that could harden. We're going to use the white icing and add a little bit of visual interest, if you will, a little detail. I don't have a ton of white icing, so hopefully I can make this work between this and the little bit of red icing I made. I'm just going to snip the tip off of this Ziploc bag, and I just did a little itty bitty tiny hole, so I'm going to try to squeeze some lace designs out. It's kind of hard to control like this, but I'm gonna do my best, the best that I can. Since these are heart-shaped cookies, I thought, why not make them look like cute little lace doily kind of things, or little lace Valentine's kind of vibe. I'm kind of regretting doing angles like this. I feel like I would be better off doing a straight line, but it's too late now, so we'll do little dots in between the squiggles to kind of give the impression of lace, if you will. I am finding, though, that as I go, the heat from my hand, just from my hand, is like warming the icing up, and it's not as stiff as I'm doing the design. It's coming out a lot faster. One of my best friends is an amazing cook, like as a job, and she always told me when you're doing art or you're maybe like making little dumplings or anything that's like finicky, the first ones you do will never be your best because you're still figuring out how to do it. The last ones you do will not be your best either because by then you're bored of it. You're like, I don't want to do this anymore, and you're just trying to rush to get it done. The best one you'll make is like right in the middle. So I wonder if the best cookie design that I'll do will be right in the middle, where I'm still trying really hard to make it cute. I haven't given up on it yet. You might find in your own life that that's probably true for you too, that the best whatever it is you're making is the middle one. I'm just using my spoon to try to make a heart shape on this cookie. It is kind of tricky. I do have toothpicks as well, so I can kind of drag the icing around a little bit to get more of a heart shape. This cookie reminds me of the Powerpuff Girls like logo. You know that part at the beginning where it's just like hearts and it's like they're kind of pushing out towards the screen. I don't know why, but that image is like burned into my brain. I watched so much Powerpuff Girls when I was young. And I just put little dots because I think that's cute. Now these have all hardened up so I can actually package them up. I want to make cute little packages for our neighbors, just as a little like surprise treat. I think it's nice when you're not expecting something like that to just suddenly receive a cute little nice little treat. Who wouldn't want that? I have a couple cute Valentine's bags too, but none of them are matching. Like I just have one design and one of the other. So I think for now I'm just gonna use these clear bags. I'm kind of thinking like 3 to 4 cookies per bag, but I don't want them to get like all the same designs. So trying to plan out which ones will go where. I've got this love one. These cute lacy ones turned out really well. Some of them are kind of messy. That's okay. This one's just a white outline heart. We'll do another in that style over here. Let's see, this one, this red one. I kind of tried to do like a chevron pattern on that. Didn't really work out too great. Kind of swirly more than anything. These bags are cool because you can just kind of like roll up the little metal part and it sort of does itself up just like that. It's not airtight, but that's okay. I think I just got these at Bulk Barn, one of my favorite places to go and get treats. I want to give a bunch away, both to neighbors, but also I want to drop some off to friends as well as a little surprise. And obviously some of these are for me. I'm gonna put some of my favorites aside just for us to have. Of course I want to show off the best ones to my wife, so I'll just say, oh, they all look like that naturally. Alright, for the rest of this evening I'm gonna do one of my favorite things, which is chill out, work on some little sketches and watch my favorite shows, my stories. I go back and forth between watching like serious prestige television and then just like terrible reality TV. Depends on what my brain is capable of processing at that time. Recently I've been rewatching Severance, which is like one of my favorite shows of all time ever. I love Severance so much. I can't wait for season 2 of Severance, but I know that's like a while away. Like, they're filming it right now, so I wanted to say a really big thank you to you guys for being so patient with me. I'm gonna admit something a little vulnerable to you. I was kind of burnt out by the end of December. There was a lot going on, and I just, like, by the end of it, I was really burnt out. So the last couple of months I've been sort of struggling with that, struggling to find balance while I work through this. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for just being patient with me, but also, being there as well. It means a lot. And I'm feeling like kind of back in the flow now, back in like the wanting to make things again and finding joy in doing that. I've been making ASMR videos for a really long time, and there's kind of ebbs and flows with like making anything, but especially videos too. And you guys have been there for me through the ups and downs of this journey. It means the world. So, I'm here, I'm working on stuff, I'm always working on stuff, and I've got already another video that I'm working on. So, please stay tuned, please check back. I just appreciate you guys so much. Lately I've been getting really back into playing around with markers, not really for making any finished pieces per se that I'm like, here it is, here's a piece I made, but just really kind of messing around. It feels great to be just messing around with art supplies again, pulling out a whole bunch of markers on the floor and sort of sorting through them, and then just like doing random little doodles of characters I'm working on, and just seeing how does this color look? Would they look better in a different color? It's fun. It's bringing that creative joy back. I hope that you have a bit of that creative spark in your life too, and that you have a wonderful, peaceful evening. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one.